There are moments in life when everything feels stuck. Not broken, just heavy, like the gears are turning but nothing's really moving. You're doing the work, showing up, doing what you're supposed to do, and yet something feels missing. Then, almost out of nowhere, someone enters your life. Maybe it's a friend you hadn't spoken to in years, a stranger who says the exact thing you needed to hear, or a quiet, consistent presence who never tries to fix you, but makes you feel like you can finally breathe again. And somehow, after they arrive, things start to shift. Not overnight, not dramatically, but gently, naturally, like a window quietly opened in a room you didn't realize had gone dark. These aren't just good people. They carry a kind of energy that affects everything around them. They don't push, they don't preach. But when they're near, confusion clears, decisions come easier, and life moves a little smoother. You may not even realize it's them until they're gone, and the silence they leave behind feels louder than their presence ever did. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 types of people who hold this kind of energy. Not because they're perfect, but because they've lived enough, loved enough, or lost enough to become steady. These are the people who help you shift, internally and externally, without even trying. They won't ask for credit. They won't demand your attention. But if you recognize them and allow their presence into your life, things might finally start to unlock in ways you didn't think were possible. So if you've been waiting for a sign, maybe this is it. The door isn't always opened by a breakthrough. Sometimes it's opened by a person. And sometimes they're already standing quietly beside you. Part 1, why some people change your path without even trying. Some people come into your life and don't do anything extraordinary, yet everything starts to shift. They don't give you a master plan, they don't offer the answer. And still, things begin to move. It's not about charm or charisma. In fact, they're often the opposite, quiet, understated, almost invisible to everyone else. But to you, they arrive like air when you didn't realize you were holding your breath. This isn't about chance meetings or dramatic fate. This is about the quiet force of energy, the kind that doesn't shout but changes the entire direction of a moment, a mindset, or a life. Think back to a time you felt stuck, not falling apart, just standing still. You were functional, responsible, maybe even optimistic on the outside. But inside, something wasn't clicking. You were tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. That's usually when they show up. Not as saviors. Not with fanfare, just a text you didn't expect. A conversation that felt like a mirror. A gesture so small it almost didn't register until it stayed with you for days. What makes these people so powerful isn't what they say, it's what they carry. Their energy speaks before their words do. They've been through things, maybe not loudly, maybe not visibly, but they carry a kind of settled strength that makes you feel safer around them. Calmer, braver. They don't interrupt your thoughts with opinions. They make space for your clarity to rise on its own. You feel seen, not judged, held, not fixed, inspired, not advised. In a world full of noise, people like this are rare, and that's what makes their impact feel almost sacred. They remind you of who you are, not by telling you, but by being someone who sees what you forgot. Maybe they've lived through something you're still navigating, or maybe they're just present enough to sense what you don't know how to say out loud. But either way, something opens, something unfreezes, and you begin to remember what it feels like to trust your own steps again. What's interesting is they often don't realize the shift they've caused. They're not trying to be life changers. They don't know you've been playing that conversation in your mind all week, or that what they offered, be it a story, a question, or even silence, stayed with you long after they left. These people don't create change with effort, they create it with presence. And if you're lucky enough to cross paths with one, you'll know. Not because of what happens in the moment, but because of what starts happening after. You begin to breathe differently. You stop rushing. You start making different choices, not because someone told you to, but because their energy reminded you that something else is possible. They don't hand you a new life. They hand you the key you already had and help you see the door you didn't know existed. Here's what most people miss. This kind of influence isn't flashy. You might not even recognize it as help at the time. That's why many of us only realize it in hindsight. We look back and realize that was the turning point. That conversation over coffee, that text that arrived at the right hour, that afternoon when someone sat with you and didn't try to fix you, just stayed, just listened. That's the magic. Their gift isn't in giving you the answer. It's in reminding you that you have one. And no, this isn't about being dependent on someone else for change. It's about the subtle power of connection, of timing, of recognizing that not all help comes dressed as help. Sometimes the person who shifts your destiny does it without knowing. They don't announce their presence, but they enter at the moment when your soul is finally ready to move again. And somehow, without forcing it, it does. So why do some people shift our lives without even trying? Because they're not pushing. They're not projecting, they're not performing, they're simply aligned with their own truth, with stillness, with something deeper than words. And that alignment calls something forward in you, something stronger than fear, more honest than overthinking, and far more powerful than advice. When you meet someone like this, something in you remembers. You remember how it feels to feel safe, to feel seen, To feel like life can still surprise you in gentle, good ways. And sometimes that's all you need to start again, not louder, not harder, but better. Part 2, the 3 energy types who silently shift your destiny. Number 1, the quiet pillar, often marked by a mole on the back of the neck. You may not notice them at first. They don't walk into a room with volume. They don't pull focus or carry the kind of energy that demands to be seen. In fact, you might overlook them entirely until you need strength, until life becomes too heavy, until something in you whispers, call them. And when you do, they're already on their way. This is the first kind of person who can shift your path without even trying. I call them the quiet pillar. They don't rescue you, they don't give grand speeches, but they hold space, they hold stillness, they hold ground. And when everything else in your life feels like it's shaking, they're the one thing that doesn't. What sets them apart isn't their words, it's their presence. There's a groundedness to them that doesn't come from theory or self-help books. It comes from living, from carrying, from having been the one everyone leaned on again and again, even when no one thought to ask how they were doing. They've grown through pressure, but not the kind that breaks you, the kind that solidifies you, makes you dependable, durable, deep. Many of these people have something physically quiet about them. You'll see it in how they move, how they listen. They don't interrupt. They don't center themselves. They're the friend who remembers what you said weeks ago, the one who sends a text on the day you were dreading without you needing to remind them. The one who helps you move not just furniture, but through a season of your life that felt too heavy to carry alone. And interestingly, many of them, though not all, carry a subtle mark. Sometimes it's an actual physical detail, like a mole at the base of their neck. In certain spiritual traditions, this is seen as a symbol, a karmic imprint from a life before, a vow made to protect, to stay, to return when needed. Whether you believe in that or not doesn't change the fact that these people often feel like they've been here before, as if their wisdom comes not from what they've read, but what they've endured. There's a specific kind of calm they bring. It's not the shallow kind that tells you everything's fine. It's the kind that quietly sits beside you while everything falls apart and helps you remember that you can still rebuild. They don't take over, they don't push, they simply stay. And sometimes that's more powerful than any advice in the world. They're the person you call at 2 a.m., not because you expect them to solve the problem, but because you know they'll answer. They're not the center of every party. They don't light up every room. But when you're drowning, they're the one who holds the rope without needing applause for it. And maybe that's what makes their presence so unforgettable. It's quiet loyalty, gentle strength. The kind that doesn't ask to be recognized, but becomes your anchor when the water rises. The truth is, many quiet pillars go unseen for years. People lean on them but don't check in. They carry more than they should because they don't want to burden others. And even when they are exhausted, they often smile through it because they don't want anyone to worry. But beneath that smile is a weight, a deep ongoing ache from holding so much for so long. That's why if you know someone like this, don't wait for them to ask. Give back, even if it's small. Remind them they're not alone. They've steadied others for so long, they deserve to feel steadied too. And if you are this person, if you see yourself in these words, please hear this. Your strength is beautiful, but you're allowed to rest. You don't have to hold it all. You're not failing when you ask for help. The world has felt safe for many because of you. But that doesn't mean you have to be the strong one all the time. You too deserve to be held. There's a reason these people shift lives. It's not because they shout solutions. It's because they remind us what it feels like to be safe. When the world gets loud, chaotic, uncertain, the quiet pillar brings a kind of stillness that feels like clarity, like coming back to yourself, like finally having someone who isn't trying to change you, but simply believes in your ability to carry on. Their energy stabilizes you. You don't realize how scattered you've been until they speak softly and something in you exhales. They don't need to give you a plan. Their presence reminds you that you already know your way. You just needed someone steady enough to walk beside you while you remembered. And that's the power of this first energy type. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it is lasting. When you meet someone like this, when you let them in, they won't try to change your life, but they will be the reason you can change it yourself. So ask yourself, do you have someone like this in your life? Someone whose presence feels like gravity when you're spinning, someone who never says, let me fix it, but somehow helps you feel like maybe it can be fixed. If yes, cherish them, thank them. And if not, don't worry, these people don't arrive through force. They appear when your energy starts asking for calm over chaos, when you stop searching for loud saviors and start noticing quiet anchors. Because sometimes the strongest people don't raise their voices. They raise your spirit without saying a word. Number 2, the soother with a smile often has dimples. Some people carry a softness that doesn't ask for attention, but you feel it the moment they smile. They walk into a room and the air shifts, not because they say anything groundbreaking, but because something in their energy melts the tension you didn't realize you were holding. You find yourself relaxing, softening. For a moment, the noise in your head quiets. Your shoulders drop. and suddenly, things feel just a little more possible. This is the second kind of person who can shift your path without trying. I call them the soother with a smile. You'll often recognize them by their dimples, those small, effortless marks that appear when they smile like windows to something deeper. But it's not really about the dimples. It's about the energy they carry behind them. They exude warmth, not the performative kind, but the quiet, genuine kind that makes people feel like they can be themselves. They don't take over a space, they balance it. What sets these people apart is their ability to meet people exactly where they are, without judgment, without pressure, without needing to fix anything. They make you feel like you're already enough just as you are. And when you're in their presence, something inside you begins to breathe again. You feel more open, more seen, more connected to yourself and to the moment. It's subtle but unmistakable. They have a gift most people overlook: emotional presence. In a world where everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, these are the people who actually listen. Not just to your words, but to your pauses, to the things you don't say, to the shifts in your voice when something touches a nerve. And yet, they never use what they notice to make you feel small. They never corner you with insight or tell you what to do. Instead, they offer a quiet kind of companionship that reminds you you're not as alone as you thought. What makes them so powerful is that they rarely see themselves this way. They think of themselves as just being kind or just listening. But what they're actually doing is helping people regulate, recalibrate, and reconnect. Without any formal training, they often act as emotional healers, just by being who they are, just by staying soft in a world that keeps trying to harden them. People gravitate toward them, especially those in pain, in transition, or in emotional overwhelm. And even when they're surrounded by others, their attention is fully with whoever is speaking. There's no rush in their energy, no urgency to move on. That stillness is what makes people open up. They offer a space where others can stop performing and start being real. If you've ever had someone like this in your life, you know the difference they make. They're the ones who text you on your hard days just to check in, who remember what you said in passing 3 weeks ago, who sense when you're pulling away and gently draw you back without making a scene. They're the ones who laugh with their whole face, cry without shame, and make you feel safe feeling your own feelings. They don't need the spotlight. Their impact happens in the quietest corners of our lives. And yet, because they give so freely, they're often misunderstood. People may assume they're always okay, that their smiles mean they're not carrying anything hard. But behind their warmth is often a well of deep emotion, grief they've never spoken, losses they've had to grow through, heartbreaks they've learned to carry gracefully. They've become soft not because life has been gentle with them, but because they chose not to harden. That is what makes them so rare. The truth is, these people don't just comfort others, they're often working through their own healing in silence. And sometimes the very act of being there for others becomes their way of staying grounded. But it can come at a cost, if no one checks in on them, if no one offers them the same depth they give so easily, if they are always the one people come to, but never the one someone sits down and says, "How are you really?" That's why it's so important to recognize them, not just for what they give, but for who they are. If you're lucky enough to know someone like this, don't just receive their kindness, reflect it back. Ask them how they're doing. Be the safe space they keep creating for others, because even the warmest lights need places where they can dim without fear of being forgotten. And if you are this person, if this sounds like you, please know your energy is a gift, not because it's loud, but because it's real. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You don't have to smile when you're tired. The world is better because you care the way you do, but you too deserve care. You too deserve to be asked how your heart is doing without having to earn it first. There's a kind of quiet influence that lasts longer than anything loud ever could. And the soother with a smile is a perfect example of that. You may not remember what they said, but you'll remember how you felt with them, safe enough, maybe even seen for the first time in a long while. So ask yourself, do you know someone like this? Someone whose presence makes you feel lighter, whose energy doesn't just fill space but balances it. If yes, cherish them, thank them. And most importantly, don't assume they don't need you just because they rarely ask for anything. Because sometimes the person who's helped everyone else feel less alone is the one quietly hoping someone might notice when they need the same. Number 3, the compassionate healer, often with a mole near the heart. There are people in this world who seem to feel everything more deeply. They carry no title, wear no badge, but their presence has a way of calming storms, inside rooms and inside hearts. You don't always notice them right away. But when you're hurting, confused, or raw, they're often the first to notice and the last to leave. You won't find them speaking over others. You'll find them leaning in, fully present, fully tuned in. This is the third type of person who shifts your path without effort. I call them the compassionate healer. Often they carry a small physical mark, a mole near the heart, said in spiritual traditions to be a symbol of souls sent back to ease pain, to offer love without agenda. But their true mark isn't on the skin, it's in how they love. These people are naturally attuned to suffering, not because they were trained to be, but because they've lived it. They've known grief, loneliness, rejection. And instead of becoming bitter, they let it shape them into someone more gentle, more open. Their empathy doesn't come from pity, it comes from recognition. They don't see your pain as a problem. They see it as something sacred, something worth holding with care. And when you speak to them, you can feel it. They're not thinking of what to say next. They're feeling every word as you say it, and even if you don't explain everything, somehow they still understand. They show up in all kinds of forms. The nurse who goes beyond what's required. The teacher who notices the quietest child in the room. The friend who doesn't just check in once, but keeps checking in long after others stop asking. They're often drawn to helping professions, therapy, medicine, community work, but you'll find them anywhere because compassion isn't their job, it's their nature. The most striking thing about the compassionate healer is that their love doesn't need a reason. They don't ask what you can offer them. They don't keep score. They love because they know how much it matters, because they remember how it felt to not be loved well, because they understand that even a moment of kindness can shift the course of someone's life. And so they give again and again, not out of obligation, but out of instinct. But here's what most people miss. Healers hurt too, often deeply. Their hearts are open, which means they also absorb pain more easily. When others are in need, they show up. But when they are the ones breaking, they tend to withdraw. Not because they want to disappear, but because they're so used to being the strong one, the one others lean on, they've forgotten how to ask for support. And that's where their gift becomes their risk. If they don't learn how to replenish, how to receive, how to say, I need, they burn out. Quietly, completely. Many compassionate healers go through emotional breakdowns, not because they're weak, but because they've been carrying too much without rest, without being seen, without being held in return. That's why if you know someone like this, someone who's always checking on you, always offering warmth, always willing to carry your load, you need to remember their heart is strong, but it's not invincible. Love them back. Notice their quiet struggles. Ask them how they feel. Don't assume their kindness means they are okay. Sometimes the most radiant people are the ones hurting the most and hiding it best. And if you are this person, let me speak to you directly. You are not here just to give. You are also here to be loved, to be cared for, to be supported. Your presence changes people. Your love opens them, but you don't have to empty yourself to matter. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to choose softness for yourself, not just for others. You don't need to be in pain to be useful. You don't need to prove your worth through sacrifice. The world is already better because you exist. Let that be enough. There is a beautiful irony in these souls. They often serve as the turning point in someone else's life and never even realize it. Their advice might be forgotten, but their kindness, that stays. The way they looked at someone without judgment, the way they showed up when others turned away, the way they offered space without needing to be the center of it. These are the people who shift lives not by force, but by love. So think, has someone ever made you feel safe without even trying? Made you believe in your goodness again when you'd all but lost it? If so, you've met a compassionate healer. You've been touched by their frequency. And if you haven't met one yet, don't worry. They appear when you're finally open to receiving love that asks for nothing but your honesty in return. The compassionate healer doesn't stay for applause, doesn't give to be remembered. They simply follow the pull of their heart. And in doing so, they leave something behind in every life they touch. A moment of peace, a flicker of light, a gentle reminder that kindness is still possible. Not everyone gets to meet someone like this. But if you do, don't let them pour endlessly. Give back. Show up, protect their softness. Because while their love is strong, it's also rare, and it deserves to be honored. Because in a world that often asks us to toughen up, the compassionate healer reminds us that strength can look like softness, that love doesn't have to be loud to be powerful, and that sometimes the deepest impact comes from the quietest heart. Part 3, how to know when one is about to enter your life. You can't schedule it, you can't predict it, but somehow life always sends the right person at the right time if you're quiet enough to notice. These people, the ones who shift your path, soothe your storms, or anchor you when you're falling apart, they rarely arrive with warning. But the universe is never careless. Before they walk in, it almost always whispers a few signs. The first is stillness, sudden and unfamiliar. Things around you might slow down for no clear reason. Maybe people cancel plans. Maybe a conversation you were relying on doesn't happen. Your calendar opens up just enough for silence to settle in. And that stillness isn't emptiness, it's preparation. You're being given space, not as punishment, but because someone is being sent into your life, and when they arrive, you'll need room. Not physical room, energetic room, emotional room. A soft place to receive what's coming. Another sign, your dreams start to shift. Not in ways you can always explain, but you begin waking up with a strange clarity. You might see light, water, or someone handing you something. You might not remember details, but you remember the feeling. As if your soul touched something hopeful, something healing, just for a moment. These dreams don't feel like the others. They feel like visits. And that's often exactly what they are, a spiritual signal that someone new is near. A guide, a supporter, a gentle soul who will change you by simply being who they are. Sometimes the universe uses repetition. You keep seeing the same name, hearing the same phrase, noticing the same theme in conversations or shows. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. You're being tuned, prepared. Whether you call it energy, intuition, or divine timing, something is forming a bridge and someone is walking across it to meet you. But maybe the most powerful sign is the shift in how you feel. Not about anyone in particular, but about yourself. You begin releasing what doesn't serve you anymore. The friendship that always left you tired, the habit that dulled your light, the self-talk that never belonged to you in the first place. You begin clearing space, not always consciously, but decisively. And with every release, you're saying to the universe, I'm ready for better. And that's when it happens. That's when they show up. Not with lightning, not with applause, but with calm. They might be someone you already know, but suddenly you see them differently. You feel them differently. Or they might be new, someone you didn't expect to connect with, but somehow it just fits. They meet you in a way that feels familiar, even if you've never met. They speak, and it feels like you've heard it before, not because it's predictable, but because it feels like truth. When they speak, your body relaxes. You don't brace yourself, you don't try to impress, you simply exist and it's enough. That's how you know the energy shifts, the pressure drops, the noise in your mind softens, you stop reaching, you stop performing, you just are. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You begin to remember who you are underneath everything you've had to carry. You remember the version of yourself that never needed to earn love, because it was already within you. People often ask, how do I know this person is a turning point in my life? And the answer is quiet. You don't know because of how they look or how they act. You know because of how you feel around them. You feel safe, you feel seen, and most of all, you feel more like yourself when you're with them than when you're alone. That's not chemistry, that's alignment, and it's rare, and it's worth paying attention to. Sometimes they don't stay forever. Sometimes they show up for one season, one decision, one lesson, but their impact is permanent. They don't leave things the way they found them. They don't leave you the way they found you. And even if the connection fades, you carry their presence forward like a new language you've learned to speak. A softer tone, a slower breath, a steadier heart. But here's what most people don't realize. The more open you are to seeing these people, the more of them you'll begin to notice. Because life doesn't just send one noble person, it sends many. But if you're too busy chasing loud promises, you'll miss the quiet ones, the ones who don't sell themselves to you, the ones who simply are what you need without needing to be needed. So how do you prepare for someone like this to enter your life? You don't need to strive. You simply need to soften. Pay attention to what calms you. Pay attention to who feels easy to be around. Pay attention to the small nudges, the random moments that feel meaningful for no reason. That's your soul tuning in. That's the signal. That's the doorway. And once you begin to recognize these signs, not just in your life, but in yourself, you'll realize something even more important. Sometimes you are that person for someone else. Sometimes you are the quiet voice, the gentle nudge, the hand on the shoulder that helps someone remember who they are. And you'll never know the full impact you've had, but that's okay. The right people will feel it, and that's enough. So if you're waiting for someone to shift your path, maybe pause and listen. Look around. Feel the subtle shifts in the air, the changes in yourself, the silence that doesn't feel empty but full of promise. Because sometimes a new chapter doesn't begin with a decision. It begins with a presence, and the signs of that presence are already here. Part 4, how to quietly invite these people into your life. We often think connection is about luck, about bumping into the right person at the right time, about being in the right place, saying the right words. But connection, real, meaningful, life-shifting connection, starts long before two people meet. It begins inside you. And if you want to invite the kind of people who shift your path into your life, you don't need to chase. You need to become inviting in a different way. The most powerful people, the quiet pillars, the soothers with a smile, the compassionate healers, they're not drawn to noise, to showmanship, to desperation. They're drawn to energy, calm energy, open energy, honest energy, and the first step to calling them in is to clear what's blocking your own. Start with space, not just on your calendar or in your home, but in your heart. Ask yourself, where am I still holding on too tightly? To pain, to people, to patterns that no longer feel aligned. We can't welcome what's meant for us when our lives are still filled with what's expired. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't reaching out, it's letting go. When you release the weight that's not yours to carry anymore, your energy naturally softens. And when your energy softens, you become easier to find. Then, pay attention to your environment. Your home, whether it's a small apartment or a full house, isn't just where you live. It's where your energy rests. Is it chaotic, overcrowded, too quiet, too loud? You don't need to redecorate or renovate. Just start with one corner, clear it, light it. Maybe place a small object that feels warm to you, a candle, a plant, a picture. Something that tells your nervous system you're safe here. When your environment supports peace, your frequency invites peace, and those who carry peace will feel it. Next, practice small rituals of intention, not because they cause things to happen, but because they help you align. A bowl of salt with coins in the southeast corner of your space isn't magic, but it's a gesture. It says, "I'm clearing space for good to come." Lighting a soft lamp near your front door at night doesn't summon anyone, but it speaks to the quiet places in you that are still waiting to be seen. These little actions aren't about control. They're about signaling that you're open, available, and willing to welcome something new, not from fear, but from readiness. And what about your inner voice? That's where most energy begins. If you want to draw in people who see you deeply, you have to speak to yourself with the kind of kindness you wish to receive. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you constantly tell yourself you're too much or not enough or not ready, that frequency gets woven into the field around you. And those who are most aligned, those who feel safe and whole, won't resonate with that energy, not because you're unworthy, but because you're not a match for the peace they bring. You have to believe you're worth calm, worth connection, worth being supported just as much as you support others. Try this each morning before the world gets loud. Whisper one sentence to yourself. Not a goal, not a demand, just a reminder, something like, "I am ready to receive people who nourish me." Or, "I welcome peace, support, and gentle change." It doesn't need to be fancy. What matters is that you mean it, that you let those words land, not just in your mind, but in your body. When spoken with sincerity, that simple practice sends a signal, not to the universe, but to you, that you're open. And over time, your choices will reflect it. You'll say no to conversations that leave you empty. You'll stay 5 minutes longer in places that feel safe. You'll notice the people who give you energy rather than drain it. And slowly, quietly, your field changes. Your world starts rearranging. Not overnight, not with fireworks, but steadily, subtly, in ways you don't even have to force. That's the beauty of invitation. It doesn't shout, it draws, and the people you're hoping to meet, they're already looking for you too. The anchor is seeking the drifting. The light is seeking the open window. The guide is seeking the one who's finally ready to be seen. So how do you quietly invite these people into your life? You soften your grip. You clear your space. You speak to yourself with warmth. You say yes to stillness, to clarity, to the unfamiliar ease of not having to try so hard. Because the ones who truly shift your path won't need convincing. They'll feel you, and they'll know. And when they arrive, it won't feel like fate. It'll feel like coming home to a part of yourself you forgot you were allowed to live in. So no, you don't have to find the right people. You just have to become ready for them to find you. Final, not everyone will understand the quiet shifts that shape a life. Not everyone will notice how one person's presence can change the way a room feels, or the way you feel about yourself. But you do. If you've come this far, if you've listened with your heart, not just your ears, then some part of you has already recognized the truth, that the people who change your path don't always arrive with noise, they arrive with meaning. Maybe you've met them already. Maybe you are one of them, or maybe you're just now beginning to make space for them. The quiet pillar who anchors you without asking. The soother whose smile dissolves your defenses. The compassionate healer who sees your pain and doesn't flinch. These aren't just characters, they're energies, frequencies, and they're real. And the beauty is you don't have to search frantically, you don't have to chase, you just have to become ready, by softening, by listening, by clearing what no longer fits. Because the more honest you are with yourself, the more clearly they will see you, and the easier it becomes for them to find you. And if no one's told you lately, you deserve to be supported. You deserve calm. You deserve to be surrounded by people whose presence makes you more of who you are, not less. And when they come, because they will, you'll know, you'll feel it in your chest, in your breathing. In the way your shoulders settle without thinking. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. So thank you for being here, for being open, for allowing yourself to feel even when it would be easier to numb. Your presence here tells me you're not just surviving, you're shifting, becoming, returning to a version of yourself that trusts even after disappointment, that loves even after loss. Wherever you are in your journey tonight, I hope this message met you gently. I hope you leave feeling just a little more seen, a little more prepared to receive, a little more hopeful about the people quietly making their way to you. Because they are, and they always come right on time. Be well, be soft. And until next time, keep your heart open. They're closer than you think.